Hello, and welcome back to the West Country. So, I'm going to start by connecting up the last of the iron ore mines. I think, is that the last iron ore mine? Let's go have a look, see. So, oh no, there's one up here. Ooh, there's one up here that's been stolen by an AI. Yes, there's 4 iron ore mines available, which I have taken free. So I'm going to take the last one as well, and make sure I'm properly utilising all of the iron ore that I possibly can. So I'm just going to do a 5x2 station. Are we doing 5? No, we're doing 4x2s on these because, yes, because they only do 90 tons of iron ore. So let's curb our station ambitions there. And they're a less ambitious station. Let's get back into the game. This is letting you into sort of, some behind the scenes trivia. Sometimes I record a batch of episodes all in one piece. So you usually tell those ones by the fact that those are the ones where sort of I start off with a very sort of, normal. Here I go to play some OpenTTD and here's some advice about how to make signals extra signally, and here's what I'm doing and why, and this is all very sensible. And then the ones towards the end of the session tend to be, things like, corner shops of Neptune or something. There's a theme to explore, isn't there? Okay, let's clone a train. Let's get on with it. I did have a topic that's been on my mind, actually, which has been I've been musically a little bit of a Walker Brothers kick recently. I actually bought a mono copy of Take It Easy with the Walker Brothers. There you go. You see, all those lessons, all those times in school where, people told you what was considered cool and what was considered not. It obviously didn't take, because here I am playing sort of 25-year-old strategy games and then talking about listening to the Walker Brothers. But no, I just felt that they I like stuff which has a lot of craft to it. And that's probably why I like the Chris Sawyer games so much. Let's how's this doing? What's the ratings for this? Their ratings are very good, actually. So I'm not going to interfere with it yet. I should find something else to occupy myself with. So what else do we have lots and lots of lying about the map? Well, there's wood. There's lots of wood. So I could go connecting up some wood. Now, I want a nice bit of the map which is not too congested, which doesn't have too many AIs in it. So I might come down here to Bournemouth. I can be retiring already. So anyways, so let's build a station. Now that's a little bit cheeky. This will still supply wood, but it's fine. How much wood does this produce? 96 tons. So another 4-tile station should be fine. But yes, there's a lot of craftiness, and I think as well that's unfairly maligned by someone made a mistake with this map. I wonder if I ever noticed that. I probably did when I was playing this. Now, those building buses. Actually, no, I wouldn't have, because of course the buses would just route up here. They wouldn't bother with that. So it'd just be, why are they not using that on that side of the road? But yes, somebody made a mistake, and I so wonder with this map. It's called West Country 90201, when the actual TV show was Beverly Hills 90210, and I've always wondered whether that was a deliberate thing or whether that was accidental. And I'll probably always continue to wonder, because I'm not exactly sure, if people from Microprose even remember what was going on, let alone sort of I would need someone who was in Microprose QA at the time to watch this and to actually make it past the initial the god-awful intro and an admission of strange musical tastes and that are not befitting of my generation, and then to go, oh yes, we were, well, probably come in and say, yes, so that scenario was named, we'd spent a good time in the beer cellar, followed by a good time in the spirals, and then we came back and named the scenario, and yes, that's why it's mistitled, or maybe there was some sort of very deliberate thing going on, some sort of in-joke. because you never used to find this. I think I remember getting a CD edition of Rise of the Triad, the original Rise of the Triad. And that had a bunch of FAQs and things by the developers. And one thing that was quite fascinating that almost set me in a career into game development before I found out the hours that would be involved. And I'm not that dedicated. But before my game development dreams were dashed by the idea that I would have to, work a Saturday. I love that the Rise of the Triad CD edition had all of these. Actually, they told you all of the in-jokes and all of the things that had gone on while they were developing, and it seemed like a sort of a fantastic party atmosphere at the developers of incredible power, as they call themselves now. And this build, so just another. Let's have some UU-37s. Let's branch out a little bit. There you go. So, that can go to Oakhampton, and then there. I should have control clicked that, but never mind. Okay. They would know what's from Fallout. They had a fantastic time, but no, we don't really hear about the other things of microposed QA. I think this sort of, there's lots of references to it. Lots of the vehicle names are based on microposed QAs of the time the Transport Tycoon was being built. And I think obviously development-wise, a lot of it was Chris Sawyer kind of writing it solo, so that would have been, at best a kind of one-man party. So anyway, so yes, one-man party, possibly to the Walker Brothers, possibly not. So anyway, back on the original story that we were telling before we got sidetracked by game development and things of that ilk. I feel like they've been fairly maligned by being lumped in with what is now called easy listening, which kind of originally easy listening was very much kind of was applied to artists who were still recording sort of into the mid and late 60s in the style of kind of Frank Sinatra and Perry Como and all of the various crooners and whatever had been around in the previous decade before rock and roll happened. Learn that and set that going. And so, obviously, so yes, it was but in the 50s, it was not easy listening. It was just listening. It was the only kind of listening that was available if you wanted to go and buy records. So people hadn't felt the need to demarcate it as easy in any way. There's just the standard difficulty level of listening. Yes, but since then, easy listening kind of has expanded to sort of cover kind of anybody who really recorded in the sort of what is sometimes called I think AOR, which I think stands for, depending on who you ask, is either adult-oriented rock or album-oriented rock, but tended to be sort of very much that sort of in the Foreigner were sort of the archetypal I guess kind of AOR band, and then also more pejoratively would sometimes called MOR, which is of course middle of road, just fairly standard normal things that people like. There's nothing especially wild or exciting or over the top about it. And there's all kind of just people tend to call it easy listening. And it's kind of used as a sort of pejorative, really, that it's music that's not exciting in any way or not interesting in any way. And with some of it, there was probably, certainly some of the 80s stuff is probably true. There's probably was a lot of kind of, schlocky ballads and things like that, and that were just very much in the sort of stock-ache Waterman with a bit of seasoning, and that was that. I'm sure there's probably someone. Oh no, I didn't want to control click that. I want to just click it. I'm sure there's somebody who's going, oh no, this is a really interesting thing going on with the building the wood network out. Shouldn't you want to commentate that? It's like, no. There's people who do that far better than I do it. But there's nobody who does this sort of ongoing ramble about album-oriented rock. Yes, became the kind of pejorative. That sort of, it's just product. It's just records that are just made not really desire musical attempt to just to sell. So what's the bare minimum of goodness that we can have before, this wouldn't sell at all, because people would go, that's just someone bashing a triangle. And I can get to that at any sort of middle school or primary school music class. I don't need to go and buy an entire LP of it. Yes, some of this earlier stuff that I don't think really. I'm not sure I would really class it as easy off the listening and so on and so forth. Other people may. I've had a lot of craft in it. A lot of very, very good effort with the instrumentation and other such things. Sooner or later, you have to mention some kind of wig swapping lunatic Phil Spector. I probably shouldn't say that. That's probably something that could get me sued. There's a little bit of a slow turn here. That will affect the station throughput, but I'm going to live with it for now. In fact, yes. What did I want to do? In fact, I'm going to end up with another one here. So kind of, just sucks to be me, really, with this bridge building. Yes, it kind of got used as some sort of one of those things where record shops could go easy listening, and people who liked that sort of thing knew where to find it, and then kind of teenagers could use it to mock music which they didn't like. So maybe the Walkers are considered easy, maybe they're not, but there's a lot. I don't know, once you get out of this sort of, even now sort of sun ain't going to shine anymore and things like that, and some of the more embarrassing things like their version of Dancing in the Street is possibly the first of the versions of Dancing in the Street recorded by people who really shouldn't be recording Dancing in the Street. Obviously, most famously, Mick Jagger and David Bowie, and Bowie is a very talented artist who wrote a lot of good music, but also with Mick Jagger did a toe-curlingly awful cover of Dancing in the Street with a toe-curlingly awful video. And this is like two guys in their 40s, maybe, whatever, trying to be sort of early 80s pastel youthful, and it doesn't work. Go and look at it. It's very 80s, and that's all I will say about it, and I won't go further than that. But yeah, some of the stuff, there's some really good kind of deep album cut stuff. You're All Around Me, which was a album cut and a B-side to My Ship Is Coming In. There's a cover of Love Minus Zero, which that's just sort of, surely that's a popular music nadir, a cover of a Bob Dylan song by the Walker Brothers, but that's the kind of thing we like having in our household. And yes, very nice. But where I was going with this, and perhaps alluded to, so easy listening. This posits that there's kind of difficulty levels of listening, surely. And that you could possibly organise your record shop by sort of from Can I Play Daddy to Nightmare or Ultraviolence or whatever the highest difficulty level in Doom is. And this crossed out of Wales. The home of Tom Jones, of course, another person who would probably have ended up being lumped in with easy listening. And he was very much in the style of the sort of, the big singers and the big songs and things. Yeah. Now, where am I going with this line? Somewhere down there. Somewhere down to Bournemouth. We probably need to be going more south than this. So let's go south past Chipping Sodbury. In fact. Yes, so is there such a thing as difficult listening? The albums where you go, yes, this is not for music noobs. This is tough, and it's like, how would that work? Would that be would that be based on musical content? The sort of kind of Throbbing Gristle or Eisters in the Neubauten or Legendary Pink Dots. That's kind of the listening. You need to train your ear into it. Let's have a 100-mile-an-hour bridge. This is not very efficient. And concentrating on the tycooning would be efficient, or would actually And this thing, if you go to the difficult listening section in your music shop, would it in fact not be a case of, well, this is an idea. So I wonder whether I should just stack this as two kind of compact PBSs. That might be interesting. So yes, let's do a stacked PBS terminus. Let's do an unloading station. And would it in fact be the format? So you go to easy listening and that stuff like CDs, which very easy. You basically just have to get it the right way up. In fact, maybe even tapes. The tapes do have that thing where they used to like sort of unspooling themselves, and eventually people used to sort of throw them out of cars. And this is interesting. This is 2 forests, so I could make this station a bit more efficient by just popping that back, and then I'd have the output from both of those forests. I should go and defend my sawmill as well, because that's going to be producing a lot of goods, and that's going to be very tempting for an AI to get its mitts on it. So yes, so we've got easy listening, which is tapes. You just shove them in and they press play and they work. And there's some sort of, there's sort of standard listening, which I guess would be your kind of vinyl records. So there's a little bit of difficulty involved with that. You've got to keep it dust free. You've got to look after it. You've got to not just bash the stylus into it, and that kind of thing. So yes, you'd have your vinyl listeners. And then difficult listening, which is sort of, like, I don't know, like it's a tape, but the tape has already done that thing where it's unspooled and looks like sort of a pile of Brian May's hair or something like that, or I don't know, a CD which you have to very carefully put together because it's in 4 parts. The tolerances are such that it's almost impossible. Really difficult listening, although really the ultimate in difficult listening is say this is the new rock song by, I don't know, Bronze Maiden. Let's make up a band, and it's not supplied as a record or as a tape or anything. It's just supplied as free guitars, bass guitar, a drum kit, the microphone. It's like, yes, that's the most difficult listening. You have to just go and make it yourself. And some sheet music, of course. That's when music was originally sold, sheet music. That was originally music sales, was nothing to do with recorded forms. It was actually what's the sheet music. Right. I need to protect my sawmill. So I need to take goods somewhere. Where can I take goods? So Bristol Central is there. That's not even my station. So I was taking goods over to Cardiff, wasn't I? So I had Cardiff Halt. Let's figure out. Let's actually do. No, could I get a good station into Bath? Don't take goods too far. No. This Bath is not big enough. You need a bigger Bath. Clifton actually would take goods. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this a bit longer as well. I'm going to actually go for a 5-tile long station. Separated track, I think. So maximal capacity here. Hang the infrastructure costs. Let's just do this. And here we go. And let's beat the AI to it. And then this is just going to become my sort of stacked station. Notice how, as well, compared to my 1815 start game, all that time ago, notice how long it took my 1815 start game to actually get started. This is the point where I wasn't struggling with money. And then compare it to this vanilla difficulty game. And there's rather a difference there, isn't there? This is not anywhere near as challenging. So let's have a Floss 47. I could do electric tracks for this. Let's electrify. Oh, and I've got the SH40 as well, which is a good locomotive. It does a lot of high-speed locomoting, so let's get rid of that and get the SH40. For the SH40s, it's so powerful, it actually It doesn't really invalidate some of the station design things we've been talking about, but it does make them matter a lot less. So good to go below goods there and go to Clifton, and maybe have 3 of those. I think 3 of those will be enough. Let's have that. So good can go in there. Yes, we've got some. Oh, we were only using. No. These I could say they're CH25s, but of course, Transport Tycoon reused sprites a lot, so you can't immediately tell from a train what it is. You have to kind of go and look at it and find out, and then it will tell you. But there we go. So that's now producing lots of goods. It didn't produce much last month, but it should be producing lots now. 840. Oh, yes, so maybe at risk if we connect up all of these forests, maybe at risk of actually overburdening. What is the word? Just overburdening the output station. But I think with SH40s, this should be okay. This probably needed to be longer trains, didn't it? Colford would. It's producing a fair bit of tonnage, but not so much I need to overly panic that my trains and stations are filling up. So we're going to bridge over that. I don't want to merge those tracks yet. I think there may come a point where we start running out of space, which is the point at which we may think, that I probably do want a faster bridge there. This is not the most efficient way to do it, but that's definitely not the most efficient way to do it if you're aiming to have nice wide turns. So it's moderately wide turns. And the depot's in the way if I do that. So let us not do it that way. We'll probably just come out a little bit through here. So what I'm just trying to do here is make sure that this all has nice wide turns. So these don't take too long about going about their business. There we go. We'll just have that Y-shaped intersection there. And skiddle that up there. Oops. Forgot to put the Roro entrance in. So another train, another wood train like that. Can pick up these are some difficult listening albums here that you picking up here. You need to figure out how to turn these giant logs into something you can actually play upon your turntable. And they're just supplied with that and a compass with which to engrave the grooves. That's difficult listening. Well, maybe they actually come with the grooves already imprinted on them. You've just got to figure out how to turn this giant log into something you could actually play upon a turntable. Another wood station. Come on. I'm not really sure that I've quite invented what I will make my fortune with difficult listening. I have a feeling it's got a very limited audience, mainly because it's a high difficulty level. It's mostly going to appeal to the kind of people who sort of can hang about in a record shop and just telling other punters as they gaze sadly at the Bronze Maiden albums, with not understanding how they would play them upon their equipment, to just go, get good. Then you'd know how to play that, wouldn't you? Sort of. But there's a challenge, isn't it, to invent something that you could call the dark souls of audio formats. That almost feels like a phrase I should Google and see if anybody has come up with that. Let's set this train going anyway. Let's keep the tycooning going while I do that. No, that's indeed no results found for the dark souls of audio formats. So there you go. If you want to make probably not a fortune, because it's probably an awful idea and you shouldn't do it, but if you want a small amount of internet notoriety and a small shout out from me, go and build something which could be called the dark souls of audio formats, which needs to be at least more difficult than 78 RPM shellac records, which just shatter at the slightest provocation. Yeah, and that's your baseline. That's kind of your, I don't know, what would the sort of doom difficulty. That's kind of the upper level difficulty. but not the Dark Souls of difficulty. Anyway, before we get too deranged, and this only being the first recording of a session, that's bad. I think this would be a good place to do things with lots of stuff happening on my network, lots of wood getting places. Yes, wood doesn't seem to be stacking up anywhere, so I think we're doing quite well at servicing these. So I shall leave that there and see you in a future video.